everybody, it's Rebecca here at Y Mermaids, and I'm here today with my monthly recommendations for the month of July. I didn't do June. June was rough, so I didn't do June's, but I'm back with July, and I'm excited about it. So if you don't know, Monthly Recommendations is a Goodreads group created by Trina and Kayla. Trina from Between Chapters and Kayla from Kayla Rain, and it's just a group on Goodreads where we recommend books every month based on a topic, except for last month because I didn't do it. But it was around the world, so if you have any good around the world suggestions, you know, you're welcome to throw them in the comments below for me, because I struggled with that topic, which is sad because it's one of my goals for the year. But anyway, we're not here for June's, we're here for July's, and July's topic is empowering female leads. And I'm really excited about this topic because who doesn't love a good, strong female lead? And I don't mean strong as in strength. I mean like strong as in like well written and strong both intellectually and mentally and physically and all of the characteristics. So empowering female characters. I really love this, and there's some really good ones out there. There's the obvious ones, which we'll throw in there because duh, we have to recognize the greatness. But then there's some other ones that I thought I'd mention as well. So let's get right on into it today. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw out the obvious ones right now. So the first one is Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. When you think of empowering female characters in YA, Katniss is probably the one that comes to mind the fastest. And it's just because she's a really well-written character. She's very big in popular culture. A lot of people, not just females, but a lot of people really related to her and really looked up to her. And so she definitely changed the game. I mean, yeah, people have been writing female characters for years, but she really changed the game in terms of YA female characters and made them more empowering, more badass, and I really loved that. And I do love Katniss. She's got some issues, but they're very real issues, and so I'm a big fan of Katniss. I'm a big fan of The Hunger Games, so Katniss Everdeen. My other obvious one is Hermione Granger. Now, technically, she's not the lead in the story, but I don't care because it's Hermione Granger, and if you think about empowering female characters, I think of Hermione Granger because she is that. She is really what inspired a lot of females growing up, in my generation, especially like me, to not have to worry about what the boys say, and you can be book smart. You can have bushy hair and it's okay, because I have bushy hair too. So Hermione really impacted a lot of people, and I love J.K. Rowling for that, and I love Hermione so very much. So this wouldn't be a list for me without including her on it. My other slightly obvious one, if you've watched my channel a while, is Anne from Anne of Green Gables, just because she is such a delightful character to read. She impacts everybody around her in a very positive way because of her optimistic nature and her outlook on life that's very positive and it's funny, and it's all about imagination and being who you are and being true to yourself. And so she is such a great role model. She impacted me at a very important time in my life, and I can't thank Anne enough for that. Hermione and Anne are really the two characters that make up a lot of who I am, and so I just love them. The next female character I'm going to mention today is Elphaba from Wicked and Son of a Witch, and continuing on, The Lion Among Men and Out of Oz, I think are the four. Anyway, Wicked is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, told from the perspective of the witch's point of view, specifically the Wicked Witch of the West. In The Wizard of Oz, she is portrayed to be the villain, but in Wicked, it takes a different look at what is good and what is evil, and it shows Elphaba's backstory and her upbringing and who she is, and is she really evil, or is it her surroundings that make her evil, or is it just the perception of her as evil but really she's a nice person? It questions all of these things, and it's really fantastic. If it is a bit dry sometimes, it's definitely worth it. The musical is also fantastic and fabulous, but they are two very different things. But Elphaba is a very wonderful, powerful young female that I think is a really good character to read and a really good character to look up to as a female. Another female that I really like that might not necessarily be the lead character, oops, is Evangeline of the Finnikin of the Rock trilogy. Now, in the very first one, you have Evangeline, and she is this novice. She's a religious novice. She has very short hair, and Finnikin and his group kind of come upon her. She joins their little gang, but there's a lot of secrets in there, and she is definitely not one to just be brushed aside and just let the men do all the work. She has very strong opinions, and she definitely knows how to take care of herself, and she's got a really, really, really great story. I'm not going to give you any more because there are a lot of spoilers if I keep going, but if you haven't read Finnikin of the Rock, like, do it. It's one of my favorite series that I've read this whole year. I love it. It's so good, and the females in this are just amazing, and she's one of them. Now, I know there are a ton of female characters that are empowering and wonderful, but I'm only going to mention a handful more, and they all come from the same series. So again, I know that there are a lot more. There's Lizzie Bennet. There's pretty much every Jane Austen female you could think of. You know, there's Liesl from The Book Thief. There's Lucy from Not a Drop to Drink, and Lucy from The Chronicles of Narnia. Anyway, that could keep going. There are a lot more, but the last thing I'm going to mention, because I don't want to make this a super duper duper long video, but I am going to throw out this one series that has a lot of empowering female characters and diverse female characters, and female characters that come and have all different takes on what it means to be a woman, what it means to be powerful, and what it means to try to survive in a man's world. And of course, this is A Song of Ice and Fire with Game of Thrones series. I just love the series anyway, but there are some really awesome females in the series. Like, I think the females are more awesome than the guys in a lot of ways. You have Arya Stark, you have Sansa Stark, you have Cersei Lannister, who I like. She's crazy, but I love her like so much. You have Brienne of Tarth, of course Daenerys Targaryen, and then the show has brought us even more, where you have Lyanna Mormont, and I just like, she's my new spirit animal. So there are even more than this. There are so many really good, strong females, and they're not just pushed aside. It's a medieval type of world where the men have all the power, but not necessarily in this world right now, because you have some top females vying to have people look at them and vying for that power and vying for the throne. Though the books and the show are like very completely different at this moment, I still love them both. It's been a while since we've had a new book, you know, George R.R. Martin. But I will say, the show this year, if you have never read the books but you watch the shows, or if you're interested but you're not sure you want to tackle these gigantic book series, maybe watch the show. This most recent season, season 6 of Game of Thrones, has been incredible for the strong female characters. Oh, there's Marjorie, and there's the Queen of Thorns. Oh my gosh, I forgot about them. Anyway, there's so many great characters. This season really showed off the female characters, and it just proved to me and reminded me how much I love the series and how much I love these characters, and how it makes me proud to be a woman. Not that I'm not proud anyway to be a woman, but when you like Game of Thrones, it's not a bad thing necessarily to be a woman. So I think that's awesome, and kudos to George R.R. Martin for not just like killing off all the women in the beginning and just having all the men run the things. Like, there's some backstabbing and evil shenanigans going on underneath the woodwork from some of the women, so it's pretty great. Well, those are my recommendations for some empowering female characters. Again, this is not a comprehensive list. There are a lot of really great empowering female characters, but I was just trying to narrow it down to my favorite ones, and ones that just really inspire me on a very personal level or on a day-to-day level. So I thought that these are the ones that I would mention to you today, but if you have some good ones, some empowering female characters that you want to recommend to me, let me know those, because again, who doesn't love a good, strong, empowering female character? I guess that is it for me today. Girl power, right? And I'll see you next time.